Hey, it's Casey here from CMOX, the Fractional Chief Marketing Officer company, and I'm here to talk to you about what is a Fractional Chief Marketing Officer. Now, a Fractional Chief Marketing Officer is a lot like a full-time Chief Marketing Officer, and we'll get into the specifics in just a moment. But let's talk about what the ideal marketing team looks like so that you can better understand how a CMO and a Fractional CMO work. In most organizations, they consider wanting a full-time chief marketing officer. And that makes sense. A chief marketing officer sets the strategy for the business and drives the business towards achieving the results of that strategy. But who do they drive? Well, they would drive the marketing technician, the marketing coordinator, possibly the marketing director, and or the marketing manager. Now, these names are used a bit interchangeably, and I grew up in a tech agency. And as a result, I look at the marketing staff as more of a tech staff. What I mean by that is when you look at techs, when you look at people who do development and design, we could call them a design tech, right? You could say design employee. I think tech just feels better. So you have a design tech. You have a programming tech, right? You have a content writing tech. These are your techs. This is your team. This is your talent, your capacity. In marketing, I think we have marketing techs. Marketing techs or technicians are people who do the labor in marketing. So these are people who are writing content. These are individuals who are building backlinks. This is PR. This is potentially branding and brand strategy. This is creating video content. This is writing and sending emails. Right? This is creating funnels and offers. This is building out webinars. Marketing techs do these individual things. Right? That's the role of the technician. Well, the technician is the one who does the work. So who's the one who manages it? Well, that would be the marketing coordinator, potentially, the marketing director, or the marketing manager, or SVP of marketing, or potentially CMO. A lot of different titles that could exist for these roles of the manager, of the technician. Now, when you think of a marketing team, who should be on your marketing team? You might be thinking, why would I need a fractional CMO? Who do I need on my marketing team? I think above all, you need someone who's a strong writer. I think in today's day and age, it's critical to have a strong writer in your business. One of your marketing techs, or your only marketing tech if you're a smaller company, should be very strong in writing. That should be critical, I think. That's the person who's potentially authoring the blog posts, or maybe just reviewing the blog posts before they post them themselves. It's the person who is having conversations with folks, maybe by sending messages out on LinkedIn. This is the person who is either writing or sending the emails, and they need to make sure that the emails make sense. So a marketing tech who is strong in writing is your number one most critical hire. Then you need someone to manage them. And why? Because you can't find, you can, but it's typically very expensive, to find a marketing technician who can do all the things that you want, identify the right strategy, and be self-managing. It's just a very difficult thing to find in a person. And as a result, you'll pay a lot for that person. So my recommendation for you is to hire technicians that are right for the individual roles and then have someone manage them. And that manager could also set strategy. It kind of depends on the size of your organization. You could have a CMO, manager, team of techs, or you could do CMO, team of techs. It's really your choice. All right. So let's talk about a fractional CMO and what this role is. Now, you know what a outside general counsel is, right? You've heard of that before. It's this notion that you don't need a full-time lawyer in your business, but you need a lawyer. You need someone that can represent you legally and review contracts. That's outside general counsel. That's a fractional lawyer, right? Makes sense. We're also seeing a rise in the fractional CFO space, Chief Financial Officer. This is someone who can lead financial strategy for your business, but once you have the strategy, it's not like you need someone 40 hours a week to run that strategy, unless your business is larger. And maybe that point for you is 15 million, 25 million, 50 million, right? There's a number there that makes sense for your business, and it's based on your total billable, but also your margin, right? If you have a very large business, small margin, large margin, right, you're going to need talent at different intervals. So the role of the fractional officer is definitely growing. The fractional CFO, the fractional outside general counsel definitely exists. The role of the fractional CMO is nascent, and it is a way that businesses are building their their bench of talent inside the organization without spending full price fees. And the benefit for this is dramatic. When you think of this post-COVID world, what matters? Leverage and bottom line, right? Leverage and sales. For every dollar that you spend in marketing, what's your return? Well, I'll tell you, it's really hard to get a return on a full-time CMO when the average salary, as noted by Glassdoor, is $173,000 a year. It's a lot of money. Depending on the size of your organization, $173,000 a year may be out of reach. It may be in reach, but if it's in reach, do you have any money left over to actually deploy the marketing campaigns? This is a thing I see too often in businesses. They are top-heavy, very intelligent people, very hardworking people that are top dollar. And as a result, these people who are very smart, who are very experienced, are forced either to come up with great ideas and then not see them deployed because there's no talent to deploy them, because there's no money to hire people, these marketing technicians, to deploy them, or these full-time CMOs are forced to do the work themselves, which they're not good at. They're good strategists. They might be pretty good at email marketing, but they're bad at everything else. So what do you want? Do you want a Jack or Jill of all trades? Or do you want the right strategy for your business and then the right technicians and tacticians to get that strategy deployed? In today's day and age, to have the most leverage, you need the right technicians and the right tacticians to deploy the work that the right strategy dictates. That is the role of the fractional CMO. Now, a fractional CMO and a full-time CMO effectively do the same thing. But the question is, how much time is needed for a fractional CMO to have the most leverage in your business? This is that Pareto principle, that 80-20 rule. What is the 80% of marketing strategy and CMO kind of role, and can it be done with 20% of the time? And I think the answer is yeah, it can be. That's why I think a successful way to work with a fractional CMO, which is what our company CMOX offers, is 10-hour-a-week CMOs. In 10 hours a week, you get the right strategy for the business, and you get a leader that drives that business forward without spending unnecessary time pretending that the fractional CMO is the expert in content writing. Also, the fractional CMO is not the right person to write the content, right? Go find a writer that's potentially a lot cheaper than a fractional CMO who has more capacity and more experience. Leverage that person. And you don't have to ask that writer, let's say, to come up with their own strategy because the fractional CMO gives them the strategy. They say, hey, here's the requirement. Can you do this by Friday? And if they say yes, then that fractional CMO checks in with them and ensures the appropriate delivery of that deliverable. A fractional CMO is doing everything a full-time CMO does, but in less time. And as a result, potentially they're not doing the same. So what would a fractional CMO not do that a full-time CMO does? Well, the fractional CMO just de facto has less time available to spend on meetings. So as a result, the meetings that the fractional CMO is in are pointed. They are to the point. They are focused on the outcome. My belief is that a fractional CMO should run weekly marketing team meetings. If you have a marketing team and they're not meeting regularly, how does anyone know what anyone is doing? And as a result, how do you get any positive result? Right. So a fractional CMO leads weekly team meetings. A fractional CMO also leads quarterly planning calls. And I think of it a bit as a captain on a ship, right? The fractional CMO is on top of the mast pointing and saying, hey, the boss, right? The CEO or the board or the executive team said, we're going over there. I think this is the best way to do it because I know the experience. I'm not coming down there to row with you, but I'll show you how to row, and let's go towards that outcome. That's what the fractional CMO does. I think a full-time CMO, depending on the size of your organization, may climb down that ladder and start rowing a little bit, right? Which doesn't help the business necessarily move forward because the cost for that rowing is so high. It's a sunk cost, sure, with that full-time CMO, but it is an unnecessary cost that could easily be deployed to hire more technicians to get more work done. So a fractional CMO is ideal for a business that's under $25 million a year, who is looking to grow quickly, looking to grow with leverage, and looking to grow with the right technicians in the business. Now, in my belief, Your business should be built by bringing in employees and contractors, and occasionally agencies. I believe that there's a great difference between having a marketing contractor or a marketing employee as a marketing tech versus hiring an agency. There are the right times and wrong times to hire agencies. Now, agencies are great because they typically are self-managing and they can get the job done quickly. The problem is an agency typically charges you 5x what their talent costs them. Said another way, if an agency charges you $150 an hour, they may only be paying their marketer $25, $30, $35 an hour. Instead of paying that agency, a fractional CMO creates the systems and processes in your business so that you can have contractors or employees that work at that lower rate for you directly, which again gives you more leverage. Now, this goes into another important point on what is a fractional CMO and what do they do. A fractional CMO builds predictable marketing processes. The fractional CMO's job is not to come up with a great idea and hope it gets deployed. It's to come up with all the potential marketing strategies, sift and sort to find the right marketing strategies, and then based on those right marketing strategies, work with the team to develop SOPs so the team can deploy those strategies quickly and efficiently without a lot of questions. Then once that SOP is built, that team member can own that SOP and continue to deploy it with as little oversight as possible. Now, the idea here is that if we treat our team members like adults and we say, here's the outcome, here's the timeline, here's the SOP, holler if you have any questions, what we can do with that is we can get that adult to really commit to the outcome. And they're going to follow the SOP until something unique or new or different happens, and they have to deviate. And they can figure out that deviation because they're empowered to. This is a self-managing company in a way because everyone has SOPs that allows them to get their job done effectively. Now, a full-time CMO may do that as well, but a fractional CMO is encouraged to do it because the fractional CMO is merely limited on the time that they have available. So where a full-time CMO could potentially say, hey, if you have any questions, just give me a call. The fractional CMO has to say, hey, if you have any questions, I've developed this SOP for you, this standard operating procedure, so that you can follow this. If after this you get stuck, sure, we can have a conversation. I'd be happy to help. But the fractional CMO is incentivized to produce repeatable systems within your business. And as a result, the valuation of your business increases. Right? If you ever thought about selling your business, you know that if you sell your business and your business is just you or a couple key team members and no processes, then you're really not selling much. But if you're selling a process that all that it requires is someone with a pulse who can read and follow instructions, follow these SOPs, then your business has a much higher multiple for the valuation. So in today's day and age, it's making more and more sense to hire a fractional chief marketing officer. And I'd love to have the opportunity to talk to you personally or have my team talk to you to help you find the right approach for your business. Is it to hire a full-time CMO? Is it to hire a marketing consultant, a fractional CMO? Is it to hire a marketing technician? Is it to hire an agency? We would love to help you get clarity on what is right for your business. So to grab 30 minutes with us and have an honest conversation about what makes sense for your business with no obligation, just go over to cmox.co/audit. cmox.co/audit. That's our company. That's my company. And from there, I'll be able to help you find the right solution for your business. Take care and good luck.